Hey everyone, it's Stuart. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for swinging by. I hope you decide to stick around. Today, I wanted to share with you some of my insights about the reality of being a designer, especially some of the uncomfortable realizations that I've had. But through it all, what I really want to do is share some advice on how you can find the job where you can do your best work. But if you're a designer who already are working, you have a job, maybe this might help you think a little bit differently about how you want to invest in your next steps, where you might want to double down so you could get to where you're trying to get to. Oh, I almost forgot. So before I start, especially with topics like this, we may get into some sticky, uncomfortable things. So I wanted to say anything I share on this video and the rest of my channel for that matter reflects only my views and my views only. It does not reflect the views of my current or any of my previous employers. So with that, let's get into it. My main observation is that design is increasingly becoming a commodity. That is to say, that it's becoming harder and harder to tell apart one designer from another. And from a company's perspective, it makes it harder to hire, and on an individual level, it becomes harder to figure out who you want to work with. But the underlying reason for that, I actually don't think is a bad thing. So obviously, with the explosion of tech, you get more exposure to design and what it actually can do. And with that, you have better access to design education as fully accredited universities are rolling out degree programs. There's boot camp programs popping up all over the place, and online learning is really, really easy to access. Not only that, with all that as the backdrop, you got design tools popping up every month or something like that. Could be an exaggeration, but my point is there's a lot of that out there. The profession is growing. So with that, I think it's becoming easier and easier for anyone to really pick the tools up, pick the learning up, and speak the language, put together the wireframes, mock-ups, prototypes, and all of that stuff is easier to do. It's figure outable. So here's the problem. If you focus too much on the hard skills, the skills that I just described, what makes you as a designer different from another designer who has access to the same things, the education and the tools? And as an employer or a potential client, why wouldn't I go with the cheapest option if they're all the same? Moreover, why wouldn't I think that design's primary role is to just make things that I want you to make? I think this is the trap that we all seem to fall into, including myself, focusing too much on the hard skills and the execution side of things to really identify us as designers. So what's the alternative? So the flip side here is the designer who is able to say, with the education and the tools that I have, I am able to solve your unique problems in the best way possible. That is the differentiator. That is to say, the designer who is able to take information and turn it into actionable insights, or you know how to involve the right people at the right time in your design process to yield the best outcomes. And you're able to articulate your design decisions in a way that non-designers can understand. And of course, you're saying that your designs are able to yield the best outcome that your client or your employer is after. In other words, I'm talking about soft skills. Another way to look at this is that as a designer, you don't have to be the jack of all trades. You don't have to strive to be that unicorn designer. And my reasoning here is if you're saying that you can solve a unique problem in the best way possible, that means you can't solve all the problems in the world out there. You may be able to, but you're probably exceptionally good at solving a few types of problems. So there's going to be a need for designers that have specialties. So I like to call these designers pointy designers. So these designers, despite having a broad skill set, can identify the few things that they're really good at and that could be of service to the employer or potential client. So I'm sure you've seen those job recs out there where it seems like they're looking for this perfect designer, the designer who can do everything, this unicorn designer. And I don't know what to say. I mean, ignore it. I don't know if this is a place you want to work. I mean, it seems like they don't really know what they're looking for. Because look, in my experience and having talked to my mentor and my other designers in my network, it seems to me that there's really, despite what the job rec says, there's a short list of things that the role really requires. And I would argue that even within that short list, there's really just one primary thing that they really want you to do so that their company or the project can be successful. So yeah, I really don't think you need to be the jack of all trades. I think most designers, because of your intense curiosity and probably tinkering around with stuff, eventually will get there where you could literally probably do all sorts of things. But I don't think that's something you should stress about or strive towards. So my encouragement to you, and this may feel or sound counterintuitive, is to embrace your brand of creative. Be shameless in being that pointy designer who is able to say, I am the best person to solve your unique set of problems. And I think that comes from your whole body of experiences and leveraging that to look at problems in different ways and solve them in interesting ways too. No matter how windy your path was or how scattered your experiences look on your resume, there usually is a cohesive narrative that can emerge from that. And that just needs to be communicated so that the folks that are looking for what you're offering can actually find you. So I hope this helps. I'll see you guys next time.